Hello everyone, my name is Aspect23 here for a KTaNE module tutorial. And just like the last video I made, we're covering some needies. We're going to be covering 4 needies again, and we're going to start with Alphabetical Order. Alphabetical Order is another one of those simple needies. It's this one right here, because you can tell. Now it will have 4 buttons. They kind of look like LED encryption buttons, but it might be actually kind of the default buttons found in the mod kit. And what you have to do is press them in alphabetical order. Simple as that. If you don't know what the alphabetical order is, it's right here. Actually says jab. Yeah, but it's not like the solvable modules, alphabet or LED encryption, even though they look similar to both of them. This is needy is just practically just press the buttons in alphabetical order. Where in alphabet, there's like a list of phrases, or not phrases, technically quote-unquote words that you have to press in alphabetical order. But in here, there are no words. You just have to press the buttons in alphabetical order. Simple as that. I thought the strike would activate. Let's do. There we go. Sometimes the first strike on a module can activate the needy. So yeah, hotel, then Papa, then Tango, then X-ray. That is in alphabetical order, and once again, alphabetical order is right here in this flavor text. So yeah, simple as that, press them in alphabetical order. The only problem I have with this module is it doesn't tell you which ones you've pressed, but it really shouldn't take you that long, so hopefully you can keep track of that. If not, then sorry, I don't know what to say to you. But yeah, that's basically how alphabetical order works. Alright, so here are the next needy on the list, which is Morse Identification. And this one is actually kind of the more useful needies in practice. What you need to do is, it will display a Morse in dots and dashes, and the Morse code table is right here. It also includes numbers, and these flavor text actually says easy. But basically, it will display a Morse reading in dots and dashes, and you have to submit the letter or the number that applies to that Morse reading. As you can see, dot dot dash dash, that's 2. Anything with 5 dots or dashes total is a number, at least in this case. There are other characters in other languages that have a different Morse reading. I don't know them. But the reason I kind of like this needy is this is actually kind of a decent practice for learning Morse. That's where I know it says hotel. And now there are other tutorials on the internet that might be better at learning Morse, but this is kind of a nice way to like practice it in game. That I don't know, it can just tell you if you're wrong or not. But in case if you are not sure, like I don't know, not Victor, I don't know Quebec off the top of my head. So I just like, oh, it's dash dot dot dash. Or Zulu, I don't know it off the top of my head either. It's dash dash dot dot. I am learning those. I do know most of them. I just got hotel 2 times in a row. But essentially, it might be it isn't bad. Kind of a practice to learn Morse. And if you know Morse, then this needy is pretty easy. You don't have to give it to the expert at all. Yep, another simple needy that actually might be useful outside of bombs. Alright, so this next needy is common sense. Now, common sense is a very simple task, but as you can see, it has a very kind of dynamic method. As you can see, what animal sound do you get when you press the screen? That's a bee. Oh, why did I press the frog then? Well, I actually got an interesting case. Now, common sense, you press the button that appears to be correct by common sense. You can click the screen in case if it ever needs you to. Now, if the background of the needy turns red, then you disobey and press the opposite button. As you can see, this one is red, so we press the opposite. What is the last letter in the word special? It's Lima. So we press Sierra because it was red and we disobeyed. I wouldn't use the term disobey. This module just kind of reminds me of the old Flash game Obey the Game, in case if anyone remembers that, where you had to do a certain task, and if the background turned red, you had to disobey. But that red background doesn't mean that the needy is active. As you can see, the needy will probably activate when the background is still blue. In that case, you just do what it says. There are some cases, like we saw the first case, where I have to press the screen. Really? Common sense? Why are you red all the time? Alright. It can't be third. Actually, it could have been third, but... this one's going to be fourth. Now, strikes can cause needy activations. Maybe that's only for the first activation, but needies are kind of quirky in some way. I'm just trying to wait for it to reactivate. So yeah, if needy would actually turn blue, or stay blue when it activates. Okay, in this case, press the screen, not the buttons. We press the buttons. There is one prompt that it will ask you to just not do anything and let the timer run out. In this case, of course, you let the timer run out. And of course, if it's red, then you would just press the buttons, because the prompt goes like, don't press any of the buttons, just let the timer run out. Now, if the needy would actually activate and not turn red, maybe I could show you what I'm talking about, because some of you who may not know this needy are probably asking Aspic, what are you talking about? The needies always turn red, and I'm just getting very unlucky. But yeah, it might, I guess, help to know some animal sounds, but I'm pretty sure most people know them because it's common sense, or common knowledge. Anyway, I think I'll just cut to when I get a blue one. Oh, never mind. So now this is blue, so actually do what it's supposed to. There we go. So yeah, this needy is actually kind of complex in some way with what it could ask you. The questions are quite simple, but there is quite a bit of them, so it might take some exploring to find out. I have shown you and told you about most of them. There might be some that I missed, since I haven't played with this needy too much. But essentially that's what this needy is, and just remember, if it stays blue, you do what you're told, and if it's red, you do the opposite. Alright, so the last needy we're going to be looking at is needy hot potato. At first, that doesn't look like anything. It just looks like a big screen. But let's see, drop the bomb. Okay, you drop the bomb. And we drop the bomb. There we go. So, this needy is very simple. When it says drop the bomb, you drop the bomb. And if the needy is still held when the needy timer runs out, then you get a strike. Now, interestingly enough, you only have to be dropping the bomb when the timer runs out. Only when the timer actually runs out is when it checks to make sure the bomb is actually dropped on the desk. So if I drop it and pick it back up, it will strike me, but if I put it back down, then it won't strike me. So right there, right when it runs out, that's the only time where the game or the module actually checks if the bomb is being put down or not. Basically saying if it's not put down when that timer runs out, then it will strike. But if it's on the desk like this, even so, if I hold this back up, even though it was on the desk, as you can see, I got a strike because it wasn't on the desk when the needy ran out. So yeah, simple enough. As you can see, the needy timer is only 10 seconds. I know it's called hot potato for a reason, but 10 seconds is really not a lot of time. Fortunately, or on most modules, if you right-click out of it, you'll just go back to the bomb. Where this one, you can right-click and you'll immediately go to drop back to the floor. So that's one thing to note. It's kind of nice. But yeah, especially if you're working on something like this, it might not be easy to just drop the bomb. Especially in just 10 seconds. Who knows what you might be doing in the meantime as a diffuser. But yeah, that's basically how hot potato works. So some of you might be thinking, well, how does hot potato work in the elevator? Where you can't really drop a bomb in the elevator, can you? Well, let's just see if I were to solve this. It says to drop the bomb, and I can't really drop anything. Interestingly enough, this module kind of just, I don't know what's happening there, but it kind of doesn't know what to do. because technically in the elevator the bomb is always considered as being held, and there's no way to drop it. So what happens is it will run out, but it won't actually strike, which I found is very interesting. This is probably unintended because, let's be honest, who even plays in the elevator? But yeah, it's just stuck at 0 seconds, and it actually does reactivate, so it reactivates just fine, but when it checks if the answer is correct or not, it just doesn't know what to do and doesn't do anything. So yeah, this needy doesn't work in the elevator, but it doesn't strike you. I just think that's very odd. At least if there's any good news that comes out of this, Motion Sense doesn't work in the elevator either. So, yeah. There's another way to break probably the most annoying needy in the game. Just use the elevator. Well, that's going to be it for this tutorial. So, if you want to go into the elevator, by the way, you flip the switch on the desk. Thank you guys for watching this, and as always, keep talking and don't explode.